All right. Hello. Welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Litro's Community Manager, Cordovan. Hope you're having a good Friday. Today, we are going to be doing a Rohan housing tour. We're also going to be doing a little bit of Q&A. We can talk about the latest news. Open to your questions. Talk a little bit about the events going on. Like, for example, it is a Buried Treasure event weekend through August 16th, being shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, August 17th, the Buried Treasure event. And remember, the Buried Treasure event got some items added to it this year from Hobnanigans. So I believe there may even be some housing stuff in there that you might want to be aware of. So, yeah, you probably want to check that one out. See what happens. If you want to run it, there's not going to be time, I don't think, to run it today because we're going to be doing a Rohan housing tour, but there you go. Quick note as well, let me make sure I've got my dates and times correct. Yeah, Summer Festival and Farmers Fair is set to begin next week. We do have a patch in the works for next week. Among the things in that patch will be to add a few rewards to it for this particular year, but that's going to be happening. That kicks off on Thursday, August 20th. Now, there is also one change this year. We're doing some work to consolidate the tokens of those two events to turn them into one sort of festival for this season and probably future seasons as well. But we will see how things go. Anyway, that kicks off at 10 a.m. Eastern on August 20th. So probably we'll be doing that next week. Additionally, there is a few other things I want to get a word out about. That is Lotro free quests. Lotro free quests you have through August 31st. We're into August now. I know this year seems like months are days and then days are weeks or something like that. But you have a couple weeks left to do this, so I want to make sure I get the word out that if you have not redeemed the code Lotro free quests through the Lotro store, please do so. I'll get you a whole bunch of free quest packs that you're going to want to get unlocked for your account. Otherwise, we did do a small patch this week. I don't know if there is anything worth mentioning from the release notes that are there. We fixed a couple of the issues that went live with update 27.2 with Rohan Housing, where players under level 86 were having some gating issues getting to the Rohan Housing neighborhoods. We fixed one issue with property guards, although it looks like a pretty sad one. Actually, may have be cropping up here if the report I read on the forums is correct. A housing broker's office can now be found in Breetown, near the town hall. All housing brokers have set up shop there to provide home ownership. So, housing broker's office in Breetown. That's a pretty big thing to call out there as well. We also have added some things for Figments of Splendor with Myrtle Mint. Includes a sporting steed, war steed appearances, decorated goose pet, maypole housing decoration, formal riding attire, avatar cosmetics. I understand some of the feedback has been maybe the prices are sticker shock to some. I don't know. And then we did some work on Rummerchant as well, including fix a couple of exploits. And I'm not going to talk about those, but we did do that work. So, I guess that really is what I should talk about in terms of news here. I do have the beacon largely ready to go, so let me just make sure. Oh, a couple of community events I can pass along too. Department of Holbit Security taking their hobbits to Isengard. You can find a link to that on the forums as well. Over on Gwei here, we've got what I believe is some kind of metal or metal adjacent concert called Inferno of Sounds, and we'll have a link to that in the beacon. Weatherstock rescheduled to September 12th. August 22nd, Greenland Open Air Market. Yeah, so we got a couple of good events that you should mention. VIPs, make sure also you have an August 31st due date on to log in to get a cosmetic Armor of the Hornburg Defender set. So do that through August 31st as well. And we have housing carryalls. This is a Lotro store thing. You're going to have to buy them. However, I should let you know, the housing carryall, the one you might want with your housing stuff, is available through sale, on sale. Is available for sale, let me say. It is not on sale. It is available for sale through Sunday. Then it goes away. So, you might want to know that. No plans to remove the VIP quest giver. That is a question from Facebook. That'll be there long term. We may end up. Who knows what we'll do in the future in terms of maybe trying to improve it a little bit to make it even more convenient. But at least it's not going away. News about the race change token. Stay tuned. It's possible, fingers crossed. It's possible that could be coming out perhaps next weekish, but it all depends on work that is being done actively, whether it can get into a patch set for next week. So that's the actual status on that one. It should be very soon that we'll be offering that for sale in the Lotro store, but it's going to be a little while yet because we have to um, get it into a build and get it incorporated into the game. We're game server, incorporated into the build. What happened to the Hornkeeper games? My understanding is the people who ran the Hornkeeper games unfortunately ran into an issue where they could no longer operate the event. I don't really know the story there, to be honest. I really don't. But the Hornkeeper games, from my understanding, are basically indefinitely postponed. And I guess we'll see if it comes back sometime in the future or not. All right, so I wanted to start. I actually, amusingly, and in a way that makes it actually easier for me today, I got a lot of stuff from Landreval. Almost all of them are people on Landreval. Why is that? I don't know. However, that makes it pretty easy for the most part for me to get around and visit these neighborhoods. But I wanted to hit the ones that would take a little bit more work, first of all. So that is why I am currently on Gladden, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a housing tour of someone who Oh yeah, I believe you're in chat, Laurel Linarian. So, Eastfold House, 3 Peak Way, Avercombe. Eastfold House. Avercombe, 3 Peak Way. Okay. We're going to do a little housing tour. This just came out, not that long ago, so within a couple of weeks here, so it seems like it would be a good deal to check out. Okay, I do have a little Brie pony here. Again, I actually don't have, like I said, I'm surprised. I was surprised to find myself without a character. Anyone know which direction I need to go? I can't remember which direction I need to go. Not that way, I'm guessing. Oh my god, I'm so slow. Well, I guess I'll find out here. For sale. This is 1 Peak Way, so it is indeed this way. Okay. So perhaps this is a little bit of a tutorial for you as well in terms of finding your way around the Rohan neighborhoods today. Should be rad though. Alright, we got a cool gate. Let's see if I turn that off. Or actually, do I need it to... Let me make sure I'm on the right house. Yes. Okay. 3 Peak Way. Now, does that... Nope, see, that doesn't persist But for best screenshots, I guess after the introduction here, I'm gonna try to zoom in. I believe we'll have information in the release notes specifically about how the Summer Festival and Farmers Fair tokens will interact with the new combo sort of event that we have going on. That'll be in the release notes, and you can expect that probably next week. Probably sometime by middle of next week is my understanding on the current sort of plan here. But there's also like because there's like a trade-in mechanism and things like that, so it'll be fine. We got you covered, even if some people may not be particularly pleased with our decision to consolidate the two festivals. We should change the cooldown for visitors of the mead hall. Okay. Decent enough feedback. I will look into that. There's the goose house. That's cool. Very, very nice. I mean, look at this, huh? Some of the players said to visit the inside of their home. Some said, "Hey, just I'm just done with the outside right now." So this one is being dubbed basically the house with the two towers. Again, congrats to a Laurelinarian, a lore master on Gladden, for doing just a awesome job in this house. And yeah, looks amazing. I let's see if I can pop in. But before I do that, let me just show off just a little bit more here. I got a nice little yard set up with an awesome looking stable. I really like this location. If I had seen this location, maybe from our house. It's a nice one. I really like this location. I ended up actually going to Kingston, and the main reason for that for me was I am a windmill fan, and I really like the windmill that's available here. So, all right. So here's kind of a distance shot of that, and then let me head in real quick. There's a lot of housing hooks. I know there has been a thread already, which is again well understood. That basically people saying, "I want more housing hooks on these on houses," and someone succinctly put in the forums, "It is not possible to have too many housing hooks. You literally cannot have too many housing hooks." I believe all of the places we find ourselves related to quantity and such are specifically requirement related for the system. All right. Gave it a second to load in. There we go. Nice. Very thematically put together and everything. It's real nice. Turn off names real quick just so you can kind of get a sense from both. Nice little larder setup here. So for those who want to, I should let you guys and gals know, or let everyone know, that on Ledgervault, I actually picked up a mead hall on my one of my accounts, on my main play account. And the reason I did that is because one, I wanted one. Two, I wanted to have. It is often extremely valuable to me to be able to have something that I can pop in and test should the need arise on a regular live play character, not an admin, or have a space that I can interact with without any concerns on an admin. So I ended up picking up a mead hall over on Landreval, but I felt a little guilty about it because of the demand for mead halls. So what I have done is open it to the public. Anyone who visits the mead hall can place um, place decorations and things like that. Remember that if you place a decoration and then someone overwrites it, it just gets sent back to you. So kind of consider it a chill space, just a hangout space if you want to. And if I could remember off the top of my head what neighborhood I was actually in, I would get you that information now. However, I cannot think of it right now. So I will get that to you later. And that's on Landreval, however, if you just want to check it out. And that's in the Kingstead. All right, I think that looks pretty good here. I don't know if I've necessarily gone through every room, but we have quite a few to get to here today, so I don't want to take too long on each individual one and then run out of time to do more than just say one or two. But let me do a quick tour of the basement here. It looks excellent down here. I love the floor. You got a nice like a bar setup with kegs and casks and what have you. Looks great. Yeah, fantastic. All right, let me pop on back over to this and switch servers. And I wanted to hit up like I said, a couple of the servers before I hit the main one on Landreval, which is what I got all but 2 or 3 houses for. So this one is on Evernight. Hopefully, I'm in better shape on Evernight than I am on Gladden. I guess we'll see. And while I'm getting this set up, I can go through any kind of questions you might have and just general Q&A type stuff that I often get hit with. So let me go see what I can do there. Chromite, I can appreciate what you're saying that it should default to off on names, or at least give you an option to have it default to off on names. It's not that much work to hit the N key compared to the amount of work it might be to implement such a system. I don't think so. Marillion H actually asks whether it is intended that one of the Rohan housing maps has street names and the other one does not. Thank you for reminding me on that one, by the way. I've been meaning to follow up on that. I will have to do so. I don't think it is intended, however. I think it's just something that needs a little bit of polish work yet. Let's. Oh, hey, dirt. All right, a second. All right, there we go. Nothing worth mentioning. Sorry about that. Will we see Thrang this year? Yeah, right? And that should be pretty soon. Is it something why you can't change all the beams in all the houses? My understanding is that is. I think it was a deliberate choice, and I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly why, however. It has something to do with how, well, I will have to look into it to get you a better answer. But I believe that there was a deliberate choice there for some reason. I'm not quite aware of as to why that might be. Sorry. I also wanted to call out Hornkeeper was a massive amount of work, and unfortunately, folks just weren't able to get it out. Well, I certainly understand what that is like. Having projects that you thought were a great idea just suddenly balloon in terms of the amount of hours you have to spend on it. So I guess that's what's up. Anyway, Telerian mentioned something in Twitch chat about an emote in the German game client getting the same name. So I wanted to make sure I got that into my notepad here so that we can follow up on it as soon as we can. Andy has an issue with a property guard not appearing. So there's a couple of things going on. One is that as of this week's patch, we fixed an issue where they weren't displaying correctly. So that's number one. Check again to see, maybe pull it and replace it. See if that resolves your issue. Number two, I saw a report on the forums that some property guards were attacking people's pets. Horrors. That's like the worst bug ever. And but whatever's causing that bug might well be perhaps interacting poorly with whatever it is that you're encountering. So that could just be that, right? I am running into an issue, unfortunately. I'm just too low level right now. Let's see. All right, so I think I'm going to actually, just in the interest of time, because we do have 28 minutes here, I am going to just head to Lanchville. I'm running into issues trying to log into some of the other servers. Just with I don't have without my admin powers. And I believe the rest are all Lanchville. Okay. Nobody wants to stare at a spinning ring all day, so let's take care of this. Notice the meat halls have fire pit hooks. Sorry. Is there a way a smaller fire pit hook would be available in the Rohan houses? That's good feedback as well. I would like to see. Perhaps that's something that we can take action on. Hard to say what amount of sort of reworking of Rohan houses we might have any interest in doing, but we'll see. We'll see. We certainly want to pay attention to people's feedback. So. What is the purpose of a carry decoration bag? A carry-all is a way to consolidate that from your inventory into a bag. It uses some technology that has long existed on the other game, but had not existed until recently in Lord of the Rings Online, which allows you to basically collect various items that are flagged appropriately with the ability to go into a special bag. And so it's more for active inventory management than, say, what you're talking about. How, well, can't you just put your decorations in a vault? Yes, yes, you can. That is absolutely a valid thing to do. If you don't want to do that, however, then it's an option. So, kind of depends on the scenario of what works best for you. All right. No, as a matter of fact, on Evernight, I ran into a very strange issue. Well, it's not a strange issue, it's an issue I just hadn't thought of. Which is that because I don't have an admin character that I have access to, my only play character is level 1, and a level 1 character cannot access the collections panel to easily get to the vendors and all that sort of thing. And so I tried to just sort of do it anyway, but then I was like, this is just going to take too long. So that is why I am now on Landry. And we're going to take a look at some houses here. Are Runekeeper questions being ignored again on this stream? Great. Too Tall 183, or no, Till says over on YouTube. Sorry, didn't say that. No. What's your question about Runekeepers? ETA on RK Fix, we are still bad state, deeps wise, and raids compared to other DPS classes. Okay. I do not have an ETA to provide on when we would, quote, fix Runekeeper. Alright, sorry, I was just trying to catch up on chat and see what I need to talk about. I know that the team has read a very large amount of feedback from Runekeepers about what they would like to see us do regarding the class. And I know that the systems team has read that information, in some cases considered it, in some cases implemented it, in some cases rejected it. And I believe that if we are to do further work on the Runekeeper, that's not something that we're going to have granular progress reports on that we could say on, say, a weekly live stream. Instead, that would be things that would be reflected most likely first on Bullroarer and then on live, but at the very least in the release notes that would be put out when we update the game. So, if we were to do something significant with Runekeeper, that announcement would to basically maybe put them back in their broken state or whatever it is that you feel they should be. That would not come in the form of an announcement on the live stream. No, I wasn't. It wasn't a load screen issue. Actually, it was an access issue because of my character level. Okay, with that out of the way. Clandon, Peak Road 3. We have someone set up. Let's see, Eastfold Housing.
What can I do for you
And
today?
this is on Clandon. And it is Peak Road 3. So I don't know where the Peak Road is there, but let's just pop to any old place and see where the Peak Road is. I don't actually know where Peak Road is on this one. Is that yeah. I don't know where Peak Road 3 is. I'm gonna have to find that. Sorry. We do need to get names on this map. I think that's pretty clear. Top of the mountain. Bottom left. Sweet. That is some directions I can follow. Hopefully. I guess we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't have even promised that. Oh my god, what am I promising here, people? There we go. There we go. This should be it. Thank you. I'm learning some of the road names here today. So I have to admit, I've mostly been in... I don't think this is it. You said top of the tower, so I'm going to assume you're up here. Work. Our transfer is working correctly because I only tried to move one from Ithel to Anor and lost your Rohan house. Oh, yes. No, that is not correct. That's not how it's supposed to work, Laurel. I don't know what's going on there. I did... Okay, this is where we want to be. I did read your post on the forums within the past hour here. It sounds like you've got a ticket into customer service, and ultimately they're the ones who are going to be able to do the work to resolve that issue for you. I have no idea what might have happened with your transfer there between Ithel and Anor, but we are certainly not having systemic reports of that. It would be a much more vocal thing. We would know it if everyone was having that issue. So I have no idea what's going on there, but CS should be able to do the diagnostic and resolution work for you. Skipped right over my question. Okay, well, sounds like I need to look at YouTube chat. I answered Thrang. I answered the Runekeeper. When can we got task carry-alls? That I don't know. We already have those. They just aren't back in the store right now. How will the race change tokens work? I don't want to give a tutorial today, but it should be a pretty easy process. My understanding is you will essentially purchase an item that will allow you to undergo the respec, however you want to call it. You'll consume the item, and then on character logout, it'll have an option to interact with the race change bit. And then you'll go through the process of kind of realigning your background and what have you to the game. Joe, it's not a question. It is a statement. Joe wants lore does not feel lore masters are DPS worthy in raids. Okay. I know that we often get an infinite amount of class questions week after week, and while I would love to be consistently the bearer of good news there, most of the types of questions we get related to class balance are typically not the kind of thing that we're going to be able to just top of our head promise of an ETA exact time frame fix for. So most of that is going to be addressed not through this kind of discussion, but rather through the more formal process of getting improvements and such put into game builds, and then those game builds being brought to the live game worlds through release notes and the preview process and that kind of thing. So I guess I can appreciate that you would like me to promise immediate change on Lore Master, but that is not at all something that would be possible for me to do today. Looking pretty cool here. Scary little attic. Kind of a haunted house sort of theme. I'm digging it. I am digging it. Looks great. Let me read a little bit there. Lower, okay. I decorated the house in a labyrinth and haunted house style for fun. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It looks great there. So congratulations there to Joel, and let's see where we are for the next home. And I think, oops. Take a look. This may be more what Joel was wanting me to look at, so let me take a look here. Ooh. Nifty. Nifty. Alright, let me quick port back. I'm doing this the easy way because time. Alright, so next up we have got 7 Colt Road, Kilnover. It doesn't say whether it is... Oh, you added the decor in the mead hall, so I'm going to assume you are now Kingstead. So, Kingstead, let's take a look. Kilnover. There we go. This one is a Udalin on this one. So this would be 7. And if I recall, that should be clockwise. Let's see. Nope. It's like a USB plug. 50% chance to get it wrong 100% of the time. At least I'm consistent. There we go. Yep, there we go. Take a look. Beautiful looking night scene here. I like the Kingstead homesteads myself a lot. I like the kind of open, grassy, plainsy area. I really like the, the Eastfold in that too. But when it came time, it's like, well, if I am going to buy one, I think I want it to be in the Kingstead homesteads. But that was just me. Maybe it's because I grew up in Minnesota. I don't know. Minnesota. No, we don't talk like that. Oops. All right. Would any of your progress be lost in regards to the race change token? I don't believe so. I mean, the way we're implementing it is intended to be not something that you would lose progress on. I guess it depends, though, on the kind of progress you're talking about. I mean, would not want to give a blanket statement and then have something like, I don't know, maybe you would not continue progress on a thing that you might expect to continue progress on. But my understanding is basically it's just now you're an X, and the numbers you had based on your former racial selection will remain intact, and then you'll just do whatever you're doing with the new one from that point on. That is my understanding. I don't think we're going into sort of, I don't know, like various deed conversions and things like that. It should just be you just progress fresh. It's a meta respec, not a lore respec really. I think this looks nice. Tootall, how is work coming along on a brand new release notes landing page? I have not had an opportunity in the past 7 days to work on it. I've been preoccupied with other priorities. That said, when I was doing it earlier, doing some work, the issue wasn't that I couldn't create the page. The issue was that I couldn't create the page and make it look decent. For some reason, when I was setting it up as basically create a page based on the following criteria and use the title of the release notes for the title for the link, it's all automated, right? So that in general, all I'd have to do is just put a tag on a release notes publish, and it would auto-populate onto the release notes page as it does for the other game. But instead, it was only in like 10-point text. And so I have to kind of work that little bit out, or I just need to start doing it manually and just create a page and bite the bullet and just manually start updating the release notes, and then it'd be just scrolling to the bottom of the page and then doing it that way. Honestly, given the amount of work that it might take to get this thing working correctly, I am tempted to simply just start doing the work myself. Despite it sounding like a bit of a pain to do long term. What can I say? So there is where we sit exactly on the release notes page. Technically, I've got it working, but not in a way that is really usable, because you can't actually read the stuff on the page. I also have it set so that it would populate based on date of creation. However, this is going to take a lot of immediate work because I'm going to have to do a date of creation and then put it back, force manually put it, give it a sort of metadate of the actual date of release of the release note historically. And that will take a little bit of work, but once done, it'll be done permanently. So it'll be worth doing, I think. So overall, I'd say I'm about 80% of the way to doing the final kind of work on it. And that final work will probably take another couple of weeks. Don't go inside of this one, the interior's not finished. However, on Landreval and Frithenwood, Rohan Eastfold 5 Ridge Road. Rohan Eastfold 5 Ridge Road.
Are you looking for something, friend?
Frittenwood. Okay. And this is Hornwrath. This is, again, Sugar 5 Ridge Road. So now, if I do this correctly, again, wrong. Should be this way. God. I'm the worst. The worst. Yeah. That's for sale, so that's clearly not it. Yep, there we go. Epic battles for legendary server when? Yes. That should be next week. Let me see. Which way do I need to go? So 5 Ridge would be, I believe, this way still, right? Oh, is this it? No, before I pop down there, let me... No, that's the other one. Okay. Tootall, I am not the person who would be updating the VIP page. That would be a function of our e-commerce department and or in consultation with our probably legal department. So that is not really a community. There we go. Hornwrath. That is not really a community function to update that VIP page. I would like us to actually simplify it rather than make it more complex. I think our charts and graphs is... it's a choice. But I think that there are better ways that we could present that to you. And ideally someday that work would be done. Alright. Looking pretty cool to me. Nice big yard. Alright, looks like we got time for, let's just say 1 or 2 more here if I can get myself going. So let me go ahead and do that. Very nice, Hornwrath. Oh, actually this seems like a decent one to end on. Okay, so this is Genuilus? Genuilius? Landerval, Mead Hall. Middle Earth's first spa with indoor plumbing. I would like for you to visit my mead hall in the Elkin Hall neighborhood of the Eastfold Hills on Landerval. Downstairs, where I believe I have the first spa with indoor plumbing in Middle Earth. Let me go check that out. That sounds great. So, Elkin Hall neighborhood. And that was, let me just make sure I got that Eastfold, right? Yeah, okay.
How may I help you today?
Elkin Hall. And it's the Mead Hall, so that'll be, yeah, like 2 Ridge Road. Will the forums be updated to track character quests and deeds completed? Desa, I'm not sure what you mean by forums there. Perhaps you're looking for a different word or something like that? Maybe I'm not quite picking up what's going on there. But I wouldn't expect that information to be available, like, say, through some kind of character database accessible through the website. Sorry, I just don't see us really doing that. Genuilus. I think I'm going to say, or unless it's Genuilas. A guestbook message board post for homes. I could see that being problematic, but it would also be fun, yeah. Would it be possible to allow friends to visit our homes as well? That is Oh, with a longer cooldown. Uh, so you do have that ability. It's something that came in update 27.2 here, in fact, that you can designate or update 27, in fact, that you can designate a primary residence, and then you can travel to kin member's house. So that does exist currently within some restrictions. I don't know if it quite meets the restrictions you're looking for. All right, so let's check out this underground plumbing here. Oh, he means non-kin friends. Okay, well, just sort of like writ of passage. It's not a bad idea. Okay. All right. Yeah. That sounds great to me. Yes, Tutol, I do have link insertion deleted on YouTube for obvious reasons. Not related to your ability to post about to a lore master thread. You kind of don't want to allow links in your YouTube comments section. Just professional advice. Yeah. All right. I think we're properly loaded, so let's check this out. We are going down into the basement, and we are going to check out the first home with indoor plumbing. Oh, is this it? Yep, this must be it. Okay. Yep, this is a spa. Now, where's that water coming from, though? Let's see if we can see what's causing it above, or if it's simply magic. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, I am not seeing anything that would cause the roof to leak, so I guess congratulations, you've somehow installed indoor plumbing in your home. So there you go. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up with the show here, unless I have anything else. Any progress about Warden Tank? No. Any progress on Epic Battles? Yes. That should be in next week's patch. Alright, so, Tolkien Professor will be up next, and you can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotroStream. I will be back next week. Not quite sure what I'm going to do, to be honest. This week's show just kind of happened, and so maybe we'll be back on the regular Black Book of Mordor and that sort of thing quest line next week, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you're having a good time, and I will talk to you again soon.